Our story begins at 8:07 on a Friday night, after a long week of hero work for New York City's many superheroes. This is where the fun begins. Soaring over the streets of the winding down New York City is Angel, flying down to a skyrise hotel's balcony. Angel creeps towards the window. As he approaches the hotel, we see Invisible Woman through the glass. We can hear overlapping war stories as Angel enters. Hi, am I late? We saved you a chair. You're the last one. This isn't a crime bust. It's the latest installment of the floating superhero poker game. Even heroes need a break. Led by the Thing, anytime the heroes have a free night from busting arms dealers or stopping planet-devouring aliens, they meet up and blow off some steam with a friendly game of cards. Angel takes a seat, joining Invisible Woman, Wong, Doctor Strange, Black Cat, Reed Richards, Johnny Storm, and your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Spidey's been going through a lot recently. He was changed into a literal spider at the hands of Anna Soria, aka the Queen. Now he's back in human form and ready for a relaxing night with some super friends. Doctor Strange lays down his cards, beaming from ear to ear. Ace high with a queen. Black Cat tosses down 3 4s. Strange, dude, you lost. For the 12th time, 3 of a kind beats ace high. Heck, anything beats ace high except king high. I thought that was a low straight. I'm sure on ESPN they had said that was a low straight. The heroes take a couple lighthearted jabs at the master of the mystic arts. Didn't you ever play poker in medical school? Maybe we should play with tarot cards. Reed settles everyone down, reminding everyone that Strange is new to the game. Small blinds are in. Big blind is Angels. Let's keep this show on the road. They start the game with Black Cat mocking Johnny's inability to hide how good his cards are. You'll find it hard to beat me tonight with your cards written all over your eyes. Johnny solves the issue, setting his eyes on fire. Here you go, pussycat. Try reading my eyes now. As the game continues, Spidey explains the background of the game. Proceeds go to charity in an annual game of No Limit Texas Hold'em. By no limit, they mean no more than $20. After all, superhero work doesn't always pay well. Black Cat plays like a thief. She waits for the opportunity and moves in when she thinks no one's watching, but she's too confident. Loves the action more than the result. Johnny plays like he lives, only taking it seriously if he thinks it's important. The Thing plays like a bulldozer, an effective bulldozer. Angel's pretty good. It's hard to read that poker face, although he's finding it's not easy to concentrate once Felicia appears on your radar. Doctor Strange, putting it mildly, terrible at the game. You'd expect the man with a doctorate in weirdology to be able to unlock the mysteries of Texas Hold'em in a heartbeat, but the best player at the table is Spider-Man, though it's not really fair. His mask keeps everyone from reading his eyes, and he can tell who's bluffing with his Spidey sense. Speaking of which, it's been acting up for the last minute or two. Right then, 2 short knocks at the door interrupt their game. I wonder who that could be. Did anyone order room service? Invisible Woman opens the door. Good evening. It's Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin of crime. How did he manage to track down the hero's location? Everyone bolts into action, ready for a fight. Johnny sets himself ablaze. Kingpin, what the heck are you doing here? Kingpin raises his hands in the air. He's not here for trouble. I'm relying on your sense of fair play, my dear Torch. All I ask is a minute of your time. If you don't like what I have to say, I trust you will act fairly and allow me to go on my way. Kingpin has one of his goons open a briefcase, filled to the brim with stacked $100 bills. What would you say if I sweetened the pot a little? Someone tell me this guy is kidding. Spidey should know as much as anyone. Kingpin's not much of a kidder, but at the very least, it's clear that he's grabbed their attention. Kingpin will generously give each of his opponents $50,000 to finance the game. A real game of no-limit, winner-takes-all poker. Anyone who wins gets to donate the earnings to the charity of their choice. And what if you win? I'll use the money to buy a boat, which I shall name the Hero's Folly, and I will use your respective $20 stakes to buy myself a nice Cuban cigar, which I shall obtain illegally. The sensible Reed asks the obvious question. Why? Because I intend to win, my dear Dr. Richards. I intend to give you all a chance to take my money, at which point you'll have to watch helplessly as I tan your hides. In fact, it will be the most enjoyable profit I'll ever make. Spidey turns back to the heroes. They huddle up and discuss it. Spidey says they should go through with it. His senses aren't tingling. Yes, but can we trust him if he loses? I don't know. I just know I'd like to stuff it to him once and for all. Spidey's on board. Johnny's on board. I'd like to know if anyone has an objection to Mr. Fisk's proposal. Either we take advantage of his generous offer or we let him walk away. Anyone? Silence. None object. Reed tips his visor to the newest member of the floating superhero poker game. Well then, welcome to the game, Mr. Fisk. Thus begins the weirdest poker game of all time. The Fantastic Four, the Sorcerer Supreme, a guy in red and blue spandex, his cat burglar friend, and New York's most notorious crime boss. Fisk lights up a fat cigar as they deal. Strange taps the no smoking sign, proving his prefix of doctor isn't just for show. I'm afraid this is a non-smoking room, Mr. Fisk. Besides, you'd be amazed at what those things do to your lungs on a molecular level. Some of us prefer to take our chances, rather than have our bodies dictated to by government regulations or hotel management. Fisk flicks his lighter, but it won't light. Strange smirks. Must be damp in here. I believe on TV they say, I'm all in. Strange pushes his chips into the pot and the group lays down their cards. Dude, you went all in on 2 threes. You can't bluff the money leader on a pair of threes. You can if you're demented. Strange insists on buying himself back in. He snaps his fingers and stacks of hundreds appear in front of him. That ain't real money. You made that up. Of course it's real money. I withdrew it from my bank account. Spidey whispers to Johnny, shocked that this antiquated hero of ancient power watches ESPN and has a bank account. By 9:54, things have gotten worse for the good doctor. Spidey and Johnny play poker commentator to mock him. Well, this controversial young doctor from Brooklyn, nicknamed the Human ATM, has bought back in twice, Larry. He's exhibiting a spectacular ineptitude for this game. Interesting strategy there in the last hand, Bob. Folding on a full house to lull the other players into a false sense of security. Fisk somewhat playfully mocks his 2 young enemies. He calls them children, amazed that they're able to survive in a very grown-up business. It's a wonder you can put your spandex suits on correctly every morning. I like being a kid. It's what keeps me young and interesting. You'd be amazed at the stuff I see. Reed asks the unlikely poker club the craziest thing they've seen at their gigs. A clown dressed in a spider suit. The Mafia. Touché. Dr. Strange proclaims that these mere mortals can't comprehend the bizarre things he's seen. Thing challenges him. Have you ever observed the mating habits of a 4-dimensional hyperfungus? Oh, that happened to me once. I dated a trill. Problem is, they're divided by 18 specific genders. Things got kinda awkward. Spidey thinks about the craziest things he's experienced. The gang mimes he keeps bumping into, the guy who'd drive around in a big wheel crushing things. Wait, I got it! The Marauders! A while back, Spidey was swinging behind the alleys of the Trophy Club. I've been there. They make great chicken wings. Spidey turned at the back of the National Instruments warehouse. My buddy Phil works there. Dude, who's telling this story? Sorry. Back to the story. Spidey hears a couple of thugs robbing a poor guy and jumps down to crack some heads. When he's fighting them, he realizes this is a really easy fight. These guys were literally walking into punches. After he knocks the final guy out, he realizes the guns are made of wood. Spidey turns back to the guys that were getting robbed. That was awesome! Now hit me! Shut up, you idiot! You ain't supposed to ask him! One of them shows the scar on his leg from Captain America's shield. Daredevil almost nearly sat on me once. Got real close. Spidey realized these guys were in a club called the Masochist Marauders who desperately wanted to get beat up by superheroes. The poker game erupts in laughter. By 12:45, there are only 3 players left in the game. Thing, Spidey, and Wilson Fisk. Thing's running out of chips, and Fisk is going for the kill. Thing goes all in. 3 sevens! I knew it! I have a flush! You lose! Fisk beams with a smile. Not the evil, vile smile we're used to, but a smile of pure enjoyment. It seems like he's actually having fun. But now it's down to the final 2, Kingpin and Spider-Man. Fisk's smile changes to the more familiar snarl as he stares down his opponent. You think you can hide as usual behind that mask, but I don't need to see your face. I can tell exactly what you're holding by your body language. Spidey's undeterred. Good for you. I'll raise you 500. Reed begins to flip the cards as Kingpin makes his final bet. It's a question of push coming to shove, and when all is said and done, you only have 2 pairs, and neither the patience nor the resolve to bluff me, which leads me to state the obvious. I'm all in. Kingpin pushes his massive stack to the center. Go for it. I got 2 pairs. Kingpin interrupts with a massive roar. Full house! Queens over 9s! I knew you didn't have what it takes! You lose! The heroes look on, as if they just lost to the Kingpin of crime in more than a poker poker game. That blows. Ahem, as I was saying, he begins to lay down his cards. I got 2 pairs, 2 nines, and 2 more nines. That makes 4. Read 'em and weep, fatso. Kingpin mutters in disbelief, completely shell-shocked. Spidey pulls in his pot. As the heroes watch on with pleasure, Strange leans into Johnny. Who won? Later that night, Reed counts up the cash. Spidey tells him to get his winnings to the Cerebral Palsy Research Foundation in Kansas. Not a problem at all. That was a great win, Spider-Man. I'm sure Mr. Fisk didn't think so, mind you. It wasn't about the money. He just wanted to stuff it into a couple of superheroes because he's tired of getting stuffed himself. Spidey grabs a 20 for himself, saying it's for cab fare. But really, he's about to go all in on a bouquet of roses for Mary Jane back home, who's waiting for him after a long night of beating New York's biggest bad guy. God, I love being a hero.